Ali Velshi over the weekend did a very important piece on healthcare and how the Republicans have destroyed healthcare, and going forward, why we must mitigate this. I want you to listen to this, and then we'll take it on the other side.
22 million Americans find themselves this week after the government reopened without a deal to extend the subsidies that make their health insurance affordable. These subsidies were first put in place under the Affordable Care Act in 2014. The Affordable Care Act was introduced in 2010. The subsidies were put into place in 2014. They were expanded again in 2021. The Kaiser Family Foundation estimates that Americans receiving Obamacare subsidies paid an average of $888 in premiums this year. That's the bar on the left. Next year, without those subsidies, they're expected to pay $1,904 in premiums. That's a 114% jump. I don't think anybody paying those got a 114% increase in their income, which forces families into impossible choices. Healthcare or groceries? Healthcare or rent? In fact, many will just simply go without insurance, or they'll buy bare bones catastrophic insurance. And when that happens, patients who can't afford to see a doctor will delay care that they get. And when they have nowhere else to turn, they'll rely on community clinics and emergency rooms, and sometimes it will be too late. More than 25 million Americans are already uninsured, according to the Kaiser Family Foundation. If the Affordable Care Act subsidies disappear, that number could nearly double. This is not normal, just so that we're clear on this. The United States is already, you can measure this different ways. You can call it the only high-income nation with a sizable share of its population uninsured. You can call it the only major developed nation, whatever you want to say. There are, depending on how you measure this, between 60 and 73 countries that have some form of universality in healthcare. Some of it's insurance, some of it's like where I come from in Canada, a single-payer system, but everybody gets healthcare. We are the only high-income nation in the world without some form of universal health coverage. And that lack of coverage shows up in outcomes. According to the Commonwealth Fund, the U.S. has the lowest life expectancy, the highest death rates for avoidable or treatable conditions, the highest maternal and infant mortality, and among the highest suicide rates of any wealthy nation. All of which are poised to get worse if 22 million people lose access to affordable health insurance. And while Democrats did not manage to convince Republicans to extend those subsidies as part of a deal to reopen the government, they are now making it clear who will own the healthcare crisis that will unfold if Republicans continue to block renewal of the subsidies.
Donald Trump loves to own things and slap his name on them. Well, he now owns the American healthcare system. It is Trump care. Millions losing coverage, that's Trump care. Americans paying more for insurance, that's Trump care. Everyone having to drive longer and take more time off work, that is Trump care.
Kind of interesting because Obamacare was meant as a derogatory thing in the beginning. Of course, Barack Obama embraced it. Trump care is not going to ever be something that anyone's going to embrace. There's talk amongst Republicans that they're going to try and figure out something to replace the ACA with. This is such BS. The repeal and replace thing has been going on since the moment the ACA was signed. Depending on, I don't know what numbers you use, but depending on how you measure universality of healthcare, there's somewhere between 60 and 73 countries in the world who have some form of universality. This is not hard for Americans, even Republicans, to figure out if there was any intention to actually figure it out. There's none in the Republican Party.
There is none. There is no desire to solve the healthcare problem in the United States based on Republican orthodoxy. And there's a reason why. They understand that the wealthy gets more wealth in the false concept of rugged individualism. Take care of yourself. Rugged individualism. Understand that, folks. This isn't about heart. This isn't about love. This isn't about morality. This is simply about one thing. How do you maximize the transfer of the monies from the masses, the capital from the masses, to a select few willing to bribe those who are doing it? It is that simple. We should not try to make it more than it is. Republicans do not believe in providing universal health care. They believe that health care, like everything else, is nothing but a cost center. It's nothing but something to create wealth for those capable using their capital to do so. It is evil. It is immoral. And we have to find a way to let those people that are affected the most learn that. Because the people affected the most, in fact, are the people who have voted for these charlatanes.
All of our country's problems, from polarization to ignorance on domestic and international issues to a complete misunderstanding of our economic and healthcare systems, are a direct result of a derelict mainstream media that too often bend over backwards to support corporate or bought politicians' wants as opposed to the people's needs for real information to make their lives better. Independent media is the only solution to inform truthfully and factually. Why? Because our loyalties are to you, the ones who fund us with small dollar contributions and subscriptions. Please consider supporting our independent media platforms by subscribing to our Egberto Off the Record newsletter at politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. Again, that is politicsdoneright.com/newsletter. It's an investment that pays incalculable dividends.